Tonight on KGW News, students react to startling allegations.
If the protests didn't happen, I feel like none of it would have been brought to light.
Of two high school athletes accused of sexually assaulting their younger teammates. Plus, new at 11, a Beaverton family now dealing with their father's death after they say he was ripped away and deported.
How am I supposed to love a country that's done this to me?
Then later, how these Oregon sheep are helping Team USA athletes look glamorous at the Olympics. And who needs a podium? It's time to hit the hardwood for an action-packed edition of Friday Night Hoops. Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with disturbing new information surrounding rape allegations at a Longview high school, with two basketball players accused of sexually assaulting younger teammates making their first court appearance. A warning, the details in this case are not appropriate for everyone and might be difficult to hear. Catherine Cook spent the evening trying to get answers from district officials because, Catherine, the school is also under investigation.
Yeah, David, and it was clear they didn't want to talk with us. However, earlier this month, the principal of Mark Morris High School downplayed the allegations. He put out a note to parents calling the reported behavior false social media rumors. Now, court documents suggest the accusations were much more than that. In Longview, the sexual assault case at Mark Morris High School centers on the boys' basketball team. Court documents say at least two players, ages 16 and 17, sexually assaulted younger players for months. Victims told investigators they were dragged into a dark team room and held against their will. One teen told police he crawled out of a locker room to escape the older students on the verge of tears. Another alleged victim described crying while running to the bathroom for safety. On Friday, students were clearly shaken by the charges.
This could happen to anyone. This could happen to anyone else. I was nervous.
Court documents indicate school staff and administrators knew about the alleged assaults up to 2 weeks before Longview police got involved. The investigation started only after the parent of a victim filed a police report. Here's something else. On February 7th, Principal Aaron Whitwright sent a letter to families criticizing, quote, false rumors and speculation. He said the school district already investigated a report and made, quote, appropriate consequences. 2 days later, students staged this walkout, protesting the school's response to the allegations.
The principal was kind of just trying to push it under the rug, say it was false rumors. And if the protests didn't happen, I feel like none of it would have been brought to light and people wouldn't have got put to justice for it.
Yeah. Why do you think?
We went by Principal Aaron Whitwright's house, hoping to ask why the school didn't do more. A woman came to the door and said they weren't interested in talking to us. Many students feel betrayed by all of it.
Not trusting them. If this happened again, they wouldn't want to go talk to the principal about it because what is he going to do?
On Thursday, Superintendent Karen Cloninger issued a statement calling the allegations deeply troubling and inconsistent with what the school district stands for. Still, I wanted to press her for what she knew and when. At district headquarters today, I was told she was in a meeting. I said I was happy to wait, but she left the building. Longview Police is investigating the district and Mark Morris High School over potential violations of their mandatory obligation to report allegations like these to police. David.
A lot of big questions out there that certainly deserve answers. Catherine, really appreciate all your work on the ground there tonight. Thanks so much. If you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, know that help is available 24/7. One option, the National Sexual Assault Hotline. That number, 800-656-4673. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now with another tough story here in Columbia County, where a former youth cheerleading coach has been convicted of sexually abusing a child. Vault Elite Cheer fired Anthony Trenkler after his 2024 arrest for abuse charges that involved multiple children, all students at the Cheer Academy. Trenkler was acquitted in all but 3 charges, including 1 count of sex abuse. He will remain in custody until sentencing next month. In Salem, Senate Democrats are running out of time to move up a referendum on transportation taxes to the May ballot instead of November, potentially because they do not have the votes to pass it. You may remember Democrats approved a gas tax and fee hike to balance ODOT's budget last year. Opponents quickly gathered enough signatures for a referendum. Democrats say the public should vote on it sooner so funding can be worked out. Republicans say Democrats are playing politics. A bill to move the referendum needs to pass both chambers and get the governor's signature by Wednesday. And CBS says it is closing its downtown location near Pioneer Courthouse Square, with a spokesperson pointing to what they called local market dynamics and population shifts.
I'm not surprised. And everything's locked up in there. Like, you want certain things, they're under lock and key. You're like, oh my God.
CBS will still have 9 other locations in Portland, including one in the Pearl and one near Portland State. Downtown Clean and Safe calls the departure disappointing, but points out new businesses are still moving into downtown. Well, to a live look at the Rose City on this Friday night after a dry, calm day in the Northwest, with change once again on the horizon. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino is here with the first look at the weekend. Happy Friday, Matt.
Thanks, David. Yeah, it is still dry outside right now, but not for a whole lot longer. 41 degrees and east winds are already developing 10 miles an hour, not too strong yet, but look at Doppler radar. You can see a batch of rain just south of Portland, down around Salem. It is advancing north, part of a warm front. And while warm fronts do what they say, they typically bring warmer weather. They're also really effective at producing precipitation. And to that end, we have a winter weather advisory in the Cascades for some pretty good snowfall during the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. I'll show you the amounts coming up a little bit later on. But for the valleys, it'll be rain tomorrow. East winds are developing. They're going to get strong in East County and in the Gorge. Then rain again on Sunday. You get the theme here. David, we'll have more on the snowfall in the Cascades in a bit. Back to you.
All right, Matt. See you in a few. New at 11, a difficult update from a Beaverton family whose father was deported after more than 30 years in this country. Paulino Martin's son telling KGW his dad died this week in Mexico. Alma McCarty spoke with him just days after the family said goodbye.
He was always an active dad. He loved animals.
Eric Martin San Juan flips through the many memories, time spent with his father, Paulino.
We were able to let him have fun. Took him on vacations to Seattle.
These pictures now more precious, recalling his dad's generosity.
Just how much love he gave us, how much time he gave us, how present he was. My dad told me at a very young age that we don't have a lot of money, so I might not be able to get you everything. But my dad gave me everything.
On Monday, far from his Beaverton home and at only 53 years old, Paulino Martin passed away. He'd been sick for a month, battling pneumonia.
But I do think everything correlates from him being taken and being broken down so much that his body couldn't take it anymore.
On a weekday in late November, Eric says his dad had just finished work at a job site when federal agents pulled him over. He spent only 3 days in ICE custody, first in Tacoma, then in Arizona, before he was deported to Mexico.
They threw my dad out like an animal. And now I have no dad. I don't want to say I hate our administration, but I want to say that y'all are making it really hard for me to love my country.
This week, Eric and his family laid their father to rest. The whole town, he says, honoring Paulino with the send-off he deserved.
Me and my brother designed a half Mexican, half American flag. When we buried my father, we laid it on top of him. He spent the majority of his life here in the United States. As much as anybody wants to say otherwise, but my dad was as American as you can get.
Eric says within the next couple of weeks, the family hopes to hold a vigil here in Oregon. They've been raising money in hopes of getting him home, but donations and most of their life savings then went to steep hospital and legal fees. David.
One family going through so much. Thanks, Alma. Appreciate your reporting on that.